So go ahead and roll your to attack if you want. Unless you did a double move. Yep, +1 to hit. Okay. So that and the bow will give you your +2. So you can roll to hit. And that will hit. Dead on. So do your damage and yep. Alright, so your call on how it goes down. Because it definitely goes down. That hit. And that damage. So as it's babbling at you, going, the arrow hit it between the eyes, and then all of a sudden you just see the eyes roll back in its head, and it hits the floor. And yep, that's how it ends. All right, Sil. So this one's down. Yeah. All you hear, Shara, is...
Yeah, she mutters something under her breath.
Yes.
Anyway, she goes in and investigates the liquor that it was braiding.
All right. So in this lovely battered house, you can see that this is just a disarray mess. Chairs, everything just smashed, turned over. Looks like this creature just made it its home and kept drinking. There are some barrels of ale in the bedroom near where the bedding where it laid. The bedding stinks to high heaven. And there's like stains from the ale in the bed.
Oh.
Let's see. What else is there? There is a squeak of the floorboard as you go from that front door to the bedroom. And the wood looks almost warped in the floor near the wall.
Okay, she'll search around that area for traps as well.
Alright, make a roll. Yeah, the Legolas arrow thunks. That's funny. That would be good. The Legolas arrow thunk sound going on.
Not very well.
You don't think there's a trap. You just think it's a loose floorboard that kind of warped a little bit over time.
Okay. Alright. She'll lift it up and see what's underneath.
There looks to be a sword in a sheath. And the pommel has green leather with a gold wire that emits a faint glowing. Almost as if a light spell now that it's open.
Mm.
You have a feeling if you pull it out, it may emit more.
She'll pull it out.
And it does. It acts as a light spell when drawn.
Oh. Here I thought I found Sting.
There you go. It's a beautiful sword. I mean, it's masterwork or better quality, and you're figuring probably magic. Just from the lightness of it.
Probably. She'll let one of the other flunkies deal with it.
Okay.
She'll toss it to
maybe
behind her.
Shara?
Sure.
All
Whoever had to get close enough behind her in order to fire through her without hitting her.
That's Shara. So Shara, you see a sword flying towards you with a sheath with a glow to it. You can do a dex check to attempt to catch. Not going to hurt you. It'll just bump into you and fall to the floor otherwise. Alright, so you go... And let's see. You probably roll some massive roll as you pluck it out of the air. Nice. she plucks it out of the air from you just like it isn't anything big and draws it with the light coming out. Alan, you can see basically it looks like a long sword that's magical that got tossed from, you're guessing, Syl from the inside to Shara. It's got a beautiful green wrapping to it with gold filament around it. Me precious. And also in the room is just a couple barrels of ale that's recoverable. The rest of the stuff looks pretty well smashed.
Okay. She will recover the recoverable.
Oh yeah, it's a little precious. You can do an appraise check on it if you have appraise. If not, if someone else does and wants to appraise it for you, then you can know. That's the opposites. She has a new precious outside the bow. Then again, you can see if you want. I don't know if Adeline uses long swords. So
yeah, I didn't know very much with my appraise skill either.
So yeah, it's you're basically thinking, okay, it may be, yeah, you can do a straight roll. Wow.
Nice.
Well, that straight roll tells you it's at least a +1 magical longsword with a light spell. And basically, the way it works is it glows, the pommel and the handle will glow, but if you pull it, it's a full-on light spell. And again, ancient. You're praising it. You're thinking this thing is 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 years old or older.
Wait a minute. Can I use any of my knowledge skills to see if this is Azlanti in origin?
Oh yes, you can. Yes, you can. Knowledge history, knowledge nobility. Would either one tell you?
No, well, not with that roll, probably.
You can use one of your other knowledges if you want, depending on what you have. Arcana might be able to tell you.
I've got geography, history, local, and nobility.
Do nobility. There you go. Yeah, this looks like a minor. The inscription on the handle looks like that of the Azlanti language. To a minor noble.
Oh, I speak Azlanti. I know the Azlanti language.
The Serith House. Syrith house is who this sword belonged to. So
okay.
It is definitely of Azlanti origin.
I pass that knowledge along and I tell Shara, be careful who you let see that. That is worth a very pretty penny.
Oh yeah, it's worth much more than a normal longsword would be 2,000. You're figuring somewhere 6,000 to 8,000 gold on this easily. If you gave it to a collector who is into historical type of things.
Mark Hale, who I'm sure senses just heard price value from wherever she's at.
Markel, you feel a disturbance in the force that calls to you and says, money. Lots of money. If we have her.
I don't think she's come back yet.
No, she came back.
Nudge her. You have your mic on mute. You're on mute, Adrestia. Come back to us. Alright.
Well, maybe she thought our break was longer than 5 minutes.
She might have.
No, she came back after the break.
So, if you what the sword looks like. It is a beautiful, beautiful, maybe some sort of infused steel. It's definitely pristine. It has a gold guard, a gold colored guard. You're guessing probably not pure gold, but it's gold infused metal with a green wrapping around the pommel and gold filament to keep it, the wrap around there, tight. And that's what's emitting the light. So there's some sort of a spell. You're thinking maybe even some jewel in some shards of jewel inside the filament. And it has the writing right on the guard, which says House Sereth in Azlanti. So it's a very beautiful sword, and anytime, like I say, it's in the sheath, there's a slight glow, so it'll keep you from, unless you had something around it, from being totally stealthy, because again, you'll light up with the light. But once you pull it, it's full-on light spell. It acts as if the aura is a full-on light spell cast on you, unlimited as long as it's drawn. And worth, again, if you were to get somebody to appraise it properly, about 8,000 gold pieces, because it's Azlantean origin. So, it's a find. It now awakens in all of you the idea that, wow, okay, we really are on an island as the Azlant, and this really is something to behold. And that maybe there are more and more items like this to be discovered. Basically, Yosef makes his way down to you guys, eventually telling you that he found another farmhouse. Or actually, not another farmhouse, another craftsperson house. It looks to be maybe like a woods person, a woodcutter. So there's still some areas to be explored, but you can see the ship slowly making its way into the harbor, where it will anchor.
Okay. So we'll drag out her new dead friend and then throw him out of the house.
Okay. So the body will be out here on the ground.
Okay. I do just a quick check in this field over here and everything, just to make sure nothing's going to come out and attack anybody.
No, it doesn't look to be. I mean, it looks like a very nice field that's, again, not well kept, just in the sense of being harvested. But it is, the food is ripe. You can see this little copse of trees down there. There's nothing necessarily you see in there other than just small chittering animals that you would find up in the trees, like squirrels, things like that. There we go. We'll open up all this area so you can see it. So pretty much, you've got a pretty solid view, and even up here, see. Let's do this. You can see all the way up into there, on the back of this house. Alright, hang on here. And the outside of this house. I haven't forgot you, Shar. I saw, Akeisha, you wrote something up there. Give me a sec. Just get out of the mask mode. There you go. Alright. Yeah, I see the smiles now. Let's have a nice find. Alright, so all of you can see that, again, more farmhouses and other type of craftsperson's houses. Looks like that there's room to have a lot more built. Probably another 10 or 15 that could be built. Even a house for y'all if you wanted to have a base of operations and a house. It would just take them a little while.
Okay. Well, I guess we're just going to continue exploring while the others meet the boat.
All right. Point to the next direction. The boat comes in and anchors probably about 40 feet off the shore from where the bridge is, and you can see the anchor is going down. and they're waiting more for Markale and for Aurora to paddle out to them on the boat that you guys took in. Or row out.
Markale will happily sit in a boat, and she picks up a paddle and she hands it over to Aurora.
Aurora accidentally trips inside the boat, knocking the paddle flat across her back, Markale's back, towards the direction of the water. Please don't fall in.
Right. So,
Check that.
make a reflex save on that one, Markale, so you don't go flying into the water.
Oh man, I'm kind of good at these. No whammy, no whammy.
Oh! And Markale wasn't able to catch
studios.
the side of the boat as you hear her just fly over the side of the boat and into the water.
Gosh, I'm so sorry I missed seeing that.
So, somewhere there's an ebb in the force that makes everybody go, did something happen to Markale? I don't know.
Oh, you will rue this day. So Markale looks up and she shakes her head. You have got to be kidding me. I can't go and meet them looking like this.
Well, don't you have
everyone is a
something
bit
that could like dry her off?
Said I have to go back to shore and I have to change my outfit.
Oh Lord, it just hurts.
This is turning into that movie, Splash.
Yes, exactly.
Except so far without Kevin Costner.
It's at this point it's Abbott and Costello if Abbott and Costello are females.
Even better.
I'm the straight man, right? Right? It's me?
Sure.
Oh, good.
So Aurora says you are free to go back to the Palisade and dry yourself off. I am content to meet them.
Well, you can't meet them. You don't know how to talk business.
I can. Aurora goes. I can attempt to dry you off with my electric spell.
Is that how electricity works? I don't think it is. You use fire, don't you?
You would have to tell me. I don't know.
You light up my life kind of moment.
Yeah, before Syl leaves the house, she makes sure to grab the ale. She walks out with as much as she can fit in her backpack hands, and she's chugging a bottle with from her tail. By her tail.
They're small kegs, so you can fit maybe two in the backpack and one under the arm.
Oh, they're full kegs. I thought we were talking about like. Okay.
So Aurora hands over her studded leather armor that she had before, and she says, "You can wear this if you would like something that's dry."
Markale takes her loose hair and she kind of puts it into a wet bun. She's like, "No, darling, I think I can make this work. Fashion is my passion, as my..." She's still alive, but I pretend like she's dead. And so she starts... So she starts stripping on the boat.
Oh my god.
Because, you know, nymphs.
Aurora immediately, as Markel's doing that, Aurora does actually grab the paddle and sits down, or both paddles, and sits down and begins to row out towards the boat.
It's a nice thing about having a all-female except for NPC party, because, what the hey, no biggie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Aurora's distracted, but that doesn't mean she's going to be worried about what's going on. That's not going to change anything.
Markale's going to go for kind of like a grungy, fierce adventurer look, like a little bit messy, but also like super serious because this is real leather armor, you guys.
Mm-hmm. Studded leather, no less, so it actually has some nice little intricate details too.
Yeah.
Real studded
leather. Now that she's like geared up, she'll be practicing posing so that she looks properly, suitable in her new outfit.
All right, so you guys are rowing out, and you can see that there are several people that are looking over the side of the boat to see what's going on as you guys row out, and they lower the ladder to let you up. And as you arrive on, basically the sailors give you hands to help you both up off the ladder.
And let it be known, Rick, that Aurora actually takes a step back and motions for Markale to enter to hop on the ladder first.
Thank you, darling. And
she gives a very flowing nod, as if she recognizes and understands the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she will definitely be an assistant manager. You know what? She's clumsy. She's not very graceful, but she knows where it's at. So yeah, Markale happily takes the hands of the sailors. Thank you, gentlemen.
Most
welcome. She's like every anime second person, basically.
Basically.
Like that pair of women from Trigun.
So,
I'm starting.
So as you get up and onto the ship, Ramona Avanth walks up to you and she says, "You're here. What a relief. We had some unexpected problems. I'll tell you about it.
So
but
did
first,
we.
I'd like to hear about the colony and the report from there. What information were you able to discover?"
Aurora looks at Markale and gives her a nod, and then it kind of acknowledges to. You said that was the mayor pro tem is what we shall call her. Mm-hmm. I don't remember her name.
Yes.
Is the one that's
Ramona,
asking. So
Ramona Avanth. Yes.
After giving Markale the nod of yes, go ahead, she also turned. While Markale begins speaking, she looks at Ramona and just with her eyes gives her the. Just be aware she's probably going to embellish the stories.
So, my dear Empress, we, of course, went ashore and I took the lead on our investigation. And what we found was a bit interesting, shall we say.
Wait, hold on. So Aurora raises her hand and pulls the roast on keg and just out of the backpack and just drops it on the ground.
So that's interesting, isn't it?
She has a shocked look, kind of moves forward a little bit more and goes, "Where did you find that?"
The Palisade. Don't worry about it. They're cleared out. We think they're good.
Okay. And good news. It is highly unlikely that they ate all of the people on shore.
She goes, "That's good. It wouldn't have eaten all the people." She goes, "Did you find any of the settlers anywhere?"
Yes and no. So, yes, we found a settler. No, he was not alive, but...
She gives you a quizzical look. She goes, "His body?"
Yes and no. So, yes, we found his body. No, the speaking part of him was any longer inhabiting it.
Aurora raises her hand and she goes, "Let me explain."
You can see there's a very concerned look that goes across Ramona's face. Okay, so undead, she says?
Yes, Aurora nods. Yes, 100% undead. However, taken care of, body has been properly disposed of, buried in according to proper ceremonial ritual. Yosef and I made sure to take care of that portion.
You can see
we did also make sure to scout the entire palisade to ensure that no further instances such as this would take place in future.
Okay, so
yes, and don't say undead, darling. It's so negative.
Aurora shoots Markale a look. They're undead.
They're living impaired.
No, they are nothing more, nothing less. They are undead.
They are living incapable.
Whatever.
So you can see a concerned look of kind of maybe sort of relief and concern on Curvis, the cleric of Abadar's face, who's also among that group.
And also of interest to you, pointing at Clervis, whatever his name is. Important to note that Father Felton, we presume is still alive. We did not find a body or any sort of undead, or turns to Markale, living challenged.
Markale nods at
So
this.
Eamon says, so the good father is not there?
No, in fact, none of the colony, original colonists, remain in the original colony area. We found information on a Silas Weatherby, who was the farmer that we just told you about, that was the living challenged. And Aurora looks at Ramona and says, and I would like to speak to you privately about that matter.
Okay.
We also found that Umbrius Hannah is deceased. He was a merchant. Oh no, my notes just went away. Fantasy Grounds just kicked me. Horrible time to kick me. And hold on, wait, I have written notes too because I was intelligent enough to do that. And so Umbrius Hannah, and he was the merchant. And we found some information on him. But we do know that he is deceased, and we also found that Edwin Fox, a farmer, is also deceased as well. And of interesting concern, I want to speak to you about the former governor, but also in private, if you would do me the opportunity. And Markale is free to join us, just nobody else on this ship.
Okay. Says, she goes, so Lord Arkley was also missing. All right. She says, come. She goes, I want the 2 priests with us and the captain of the ship. So
Aye.
she goes, come, we will talk. She basically leads you guys into the captain's cabin and says, she goes, right now we are having our own issues. She goes, and the news that you brought probably is not going to help that.
Which is why I'm hoping we can keep some of this information to ourselves, and I brought only the most important and pertinent information to the group at large. However, there are some even further, less comforting details that you should probably be aware of. Are you certain we can trust everyone in attendance? And she looks very, very seriously at the others that are there besides Markale. She actually trusts Markale at this point, which is weird, but she does.
Well, Father Curvis says, of course, with Abadar's will, we want this colony to succeed. Eamon says, yes, and by Erastil's hearth, we also want this. I also want this colony to succeed. And the captain goes, I don't have any plans or the rations to take all this lot home to home, back where we were.
He's content. He's content not to leave. Okay, guys.
Yeah, well, and one of the things that is said, whoops, as Markale's doing her thing, one of the things that Ramona says, she goes, the problem right now is the settlers seeing that there was no one here, and now hearing some of what you have said, are dangerously close to mutiny and going back. We must calm their concerns. And
Of course, and I do believe that is something that can be done very, very easily. But we will get to that in a minute. It is almost more important for you to know this additional information at this point, so you can plan and think through accordingly.
She goes, my concern is that part of the people that are pushing this need to be diffused. She goes, unfortunately, some of them are in our employ.
Aurora looks at Markale.
Peril Bays, who you have met earlier, Peril is very much a knowledge person that I need on my council. She will help map and do many other things. However, she is one of the ones that is saying the loudest that things go off course, and yet I think behind the scenes she is talking another talk. She goes, there are other ones that seem to be heading things up, and I need you to find out who they are.
Ramona, I am not worried. You have seen the Markale. You can see how she works. I have no concern that she can turn them to our side.
Markale smiles.
And if they don't,
it is bad for business.
And if they don't, Aurora cracks her knuckles. And if they don't, we will deal with them accordingly.
She says, help us here, and then I will have need of your skills going forward. She goes, you've
Certainly.
already proven more than worthy of what we've asked you to do. What else did you find?
So of most concern, and Aurora pulls the pocket watch out of her pouch, and she hands it to Ramona, and she opens it to show the strange lettering that was on that pocket watch. She says, "This was the governor's, as I am certain you may recognize or not. I don't know. We have reason to believe that he took the colonists and left the colony himself. He was part of the colony leaving, but to further exacerbate the concerns, he is the one, according to the ghost of Silas Weatherby, that killed Silas Weatherby."
So that is very concerning. She looks at it and she goes, that is Azlantian in origin. The pocket watch.
Do you know what it says?
She says, a minute and I can tell you.
Okay. So while she's looking at it and studying it for a minute, Aurora also shares. She pulls out the spell book that they found in the mayor's or the governor's house, and she says this was also in the governor's house, and very disconcerting because, as we understand, both from Silas Weatherby and other interactions we've had learning about the colonists that are no longer there, this is not something he would have carried with him or had with him or been his own. And we have reason to believe he was in cohorts or being controlled or perhaps led by another, possibly compulsed into doing things that he would normally not do. I have seen it many times. It would not surprise me in the least.
Rewind
Oh my.
Uh-oh.
Give it to me and I'll rewind it. Sorry. I'm hearing what you guys are saying.
You're fine. So the clergy, of course, in the room, they start crying and screaming out that they need to be rewound. And
there. See?
She does mention also in the conversation, that they found the on-kegs. They found the, mother on-keg, and they did dispose of the mother on-keg. And that the rest of the group, the reason there's only two of us joining, the rest of the group are continuing to scout around to ensure that the grounds will be completely safe for habitation and for the colony to be built up even further. And that it did appear that the colonists, before leaving, did do a really good job of doing some fortification, but also of creating plenty of housing and plenty of room, as well as there's a good amount of stores left for food and rations and things like that, plus some additional items that may be very useful for growing the colony and also for keeping any critters at bay that may decide to attempt to join the colony, if you know what I mean.
I do. She goes, and it is much appreciated with the knowledge that you have brought back. She goes, this I find interesting, and we need to continue to find out why Raymond Arkley let... or Lord Arkley let all these people go off on their own or led them off on their own. That's not something that is his behavior. She goes, I have known him, and he is a good man, and he would not have done the things that you say he did without reason. Rayland is a honorable man, and he very much adheres to people's benefit and the goodness of all of those who would be here at the colony.
Compulsion can make even the best of men turn sour.
She goes, it sounds like there are other influences here of sorts. She goes, mind you, this...
Markale waves her hand in the air. Excuse me, I don't know what Azlant is, but does it have anything to do with mind control?
She goes, there is knowledge in the past that the Azlanti were very advanced. In fact, they are the ones that colonized what is today Taldor, Andoran, and many other parts of Aveston. And in fact, they had colonies even all the way down into Garand, the southern continent. So there was a tragedy that befell the world that plunged it into darkness and destroyed this continent that used to be here. We are on islands of the continent of what is left of that empire. She goes, so it would not surprise me that something would have occurred that would have caused such things. But she goes, I find it not normal that a whole colony disappears. That is disconcerting at best.
Agreed.
And we cannot let any of this go beyond this room and the people in this room at this time. Otherwise, we will have a full-scale panic on our hands.
Of course, and our recommendation, or nods to Markale, and our recommendations are that this colony initially, when everyone arrives to shore, stick within the confines of the palisade. As we scout further out and as we determine and find more information, we will share it as we are able. I also would like to make a recommendation. I think it is a good idea that Markale be given one of the buildings to use as a small trade post or marketplace. And Markale's eyes just went, what?
She's nodding enthusiastically.
She goes, that is very reasonable. We will need trade and we will need goods and services here as well. She goes, but first we have to make sure the colony gets established and that we can send this ship back to get more supplies.
Speaking of that part of it, Aurora also produces the ring that was found of Edwin Fox, and she hands it to Ramona and says, I don't know if Edwin has any family other than those that might have been here on the island, but I do believe that this would be best served to be returned to any of his family and let known of his status. And I don't think we had anything else, as to my recollection, of any of the other dead individuals to hand over. No, I don't see anything. So just those two items, the pocket watch and the ring.
There was a wedding ring I would have handed you as well.
Now, a slight thing, if that's the father that was there, it's Adrian Felton. Who is
Felton.
Yeah. And Eamon says, I knew Father Felton well.
That first ring was Edwin's ring. The second ring was, we found two rings. We found the one with Edwin's initials, which is how we presumed he was dead. And then we found the ring from Father Felton, which was the one that Laura found, I believe.
Yes.
It says, my dearest Livy on the inside.
Yeah. And being that they're not on the boat, which, by the way, the rest of you, while they're doing this, have explored the rest of the places. And again, found similar trades residences as well as farms. And everything checks out within order. There's no further things that you find that are troubling the colony. So you guys can head back to the palisade if you guys want. Again, there's no other boat there to take you back yet, as per se, but that at least will get everybody back into the palisade and ready for the landing parties to come over once everything is sorted out. Unless you guys have some sort of message spell to let each other know what's going on right now, that pretty much would leave where you guys would be at. Unless you want to go further exploring out into the wilds, which even Yosef and Ferris are like, probably not without our whole group here with us.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be interested in that.
You guys could, if you want to have something to do while you wait, you could slather the floor of the storehouses with that goop that we found to in case any other Onkegs decide to join the colony. You know what I mean? Might be a good idea.
Yeah, you could rest and heal as well. That's true. You can go in and because this will take a bit for everyone to do that. And so, yeah, I mean, that would work out pretty well.
May I speak with my assistant manager for a moment?
Aurora gives her the dirtiest, nastiest look. But doesn't say anything. She just gives her the look.
Ramona says, of course, we can step outside for a few minutes until you're ready to discuss more. But she goes, do not take too long, for I fear that if we do not find and quell the feelings that are wanting to cause a mutiny and have everyone go back, we may not have a colony to worry about anyways.
Oh, don't worry about it, darling. Between me and my dear assistant here, we should absolutely be able to find a solution for it. Don't you worry. Go out there, smile, be happy, be bright, because that is what sells good
And
things.
Ramona, remember, what we've told you in here has been nothing but good things, and allow the others to think that, and that should help, I think, our cause.
She goes, I'll do what I can, but again, I'm not the one that was personally there to see it. So
Of course.
that would help coming more from you than it would from me.
Of course, and I assure you, we will take care of what needs to be taken care of. And did I not say before we left that I would make sure that Markale was kept and handled properly?
She said
She
you
smiles. Smiles and nods. I am true to my word.
Markale looks at her with confusion.
Just smiles and nods. That's all Aurora does, and lets Ramona and the rest of the group leave.
All right, so they file out with the captain having one of his people stay outside there because again they're trusting you, but that is the captain's quarters at the end of the day. So.
I'd like to search. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Wrong character.
No, I understand. So you two are both alone, and go ahead and do 125 experience apiece for working with her, appealing to her, and making yourself a true asset to her.
125 each.
Yeah, 125 each.
Okay.
So Markale leans over to Aurora and whispers, do you think it's at all possible that we can get everybody busy on shore, working things up so that, they're not brewing on this absolute... have you ever seen a trash pile on fire?
I recall you mentioning something about a bonfire from some romance novel you read.
Yes, it's exactly like that, only instead of... romance and desire and wood, it's fire on top of trash, and it's really bad.
Girl rolls her eyes and says, whatever.
We have to get people busy, darling. If they're sitting on this boat with nothing to do, then their imaginations are going to go wild.
Of course, but we're not going to get them on shore until we appease Ramona's concerns and until we appease their concerns. So let's start there, and then we can worry about plans beyond that.
Mm-hmm. That is always a good thing to do.
Oh, before Ramona left, before Ramona left, Aurora noted to Ramona that she had that ledger, the First Colony ledger. And lets her know that she will be keeping it on her person in order to maintain that if they find additional information, if they should scout beyond, she will be the one to maintain that information on behalf of Ramona.
Sure. Now, did you at all, because again, I think, Syl, do you have the charter? I think you have the charter, don't you, from the governor? If Josh is there.
I'm here.
Yes. Somebody grabbed the charter. I don't know if it was
you
him
have
or not.
you have the charter, don't you, that was up in the rafters?
I'm certain I gave it to somebody.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like something she'd hang on to.
Adeline,
It
do
wasn't
you have
me.
one of yours?
No, I don't have it.
Okay. And I don't think, Shara, you didn't have that, right? Correct? So I'm guessing that then it's most likely either Markale has it, Yosef has it, or
Well,
have it.
No, yeah, if it was a charter, and maybe I just didn't hear that part. I stepped out or something for a minute.
It lays out the charter, and if someone were to come in, so say the Chelish Empire were to come in and try to lay claim to the land, that charter would stop them from coming in and forcibly without being an act of war.
So let's be honest here. No one's giving Markale anything in.
No, absolutely not.
So I'm guessing Aurora has such a...
I would think that Aurora would be the one we would have given it to.
And Aurora probably actually stuck that charter in the First Colony Ledger book.
Let's start that a process of elimination.
So
where
if you gave that to the Ledger book, then that would then go over to Ramona, which would be helpful.
Correct, yes. And so, that was something that I just wanted to make sure we took that, made that clear as well. And then she also makes it clear to Ramona about the colony rations, that there are still a good amount of rations left on shore. It looks like probably, what was that? You said 2 to 3 weeks worth of rations, plus the harvest and things like that. So, she mentions all that just so that Ramona can take a little bit of a sigh of relief that at least supplies are there, structures are there. The basic foundations needed for the colony are already there. And that should save time and should allow the focus to fall to the most important things, which will be actually emotionally and mentally building the colony up to prepare for what is going to be necessary, which is, pioneering work, if you will.
So then now, the question will be next is, where do you guys want to go next on trying to find out who are the instigators?
Well, she mentioned...
So, that's what we were... I was going to ask you about...
She mentioned Peril Bays. Here, let me get you some pictures of the different ones.
Yeah, remind me who that one was, because I don't
Peril
remember.
Bays. Let's pull this one up here. All right. This is Peril Bays. Peril is a very vital part of the community. She, in what her role is, just to give you an idea, because again, there were several NPCs you guys got to know in the early beginning. Peril is a scholar, historian type. She is an employee of the Bountiful Venture Company itself, and she is there for the academic interest of the colony. So, ancient ruins, things of Azlanti origin, and the like. She loves those type of things. She is much more of a soft-spoken and precise individual, and she is not one for talking emotions, being majorly emotional. And the one thing you guys have known, even though she talks a big game when it comes to history, there is no way she's going to go out adventuring. She avoids conflict or physical. There's almost a fear in her about such things. So, see, Benedict would have... Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I bet Benedict probably actually would have met us when we disembarked as well, because he probably would have been curious about the status of Adeline, and so we would have shared a little info with him as well.
Part of that same concern, because as you know, Adeline, even though he is a scholar, again, probably like her, not a big one when it comes to running into monsters, conflict, death, certain death.
No, that's what he has me for.
Yes. So you have a feeling that those two are probably buddied up pretty well, and that may be a helpful interaction. So in having you, in other words, one of the two, either having the sailors go out to get you guys ashore, may be a good thing in that arena. And that's something that will come to mind for both Aurora and even Markale in her business sense, thinking, I think that might be a good match. And again, you can use some of them there. Like, if you wanted Faradis to stay with maybe Syl on land, if Syl wanted to stay there and didn't want to maybe go through necessarily diffusing a riot situation, those would be two that would be good to leave on at the colony.
Yeah, and probably Yosef, too.
Not that anyone really knows this about her, but her method of quelling a rebellion would be, well, murder.
I
mean, we just kind of assumed that was the case at this point.
Yeah.
I would just murder a few, and, no big deal.
So then Aurora would ask Markale, are you content to return to shore to get Adelind and
Yosef and possibly
and
Shara back.
I am actually content personally to leave Yosef on shore. I do not think that he will be, in this particular instance, a whole lot of help necessarily. I mean, he could be, but he might be better served on shore.
He is an investigator. You figured that out by now.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
yeah.
That's right. Then, yes, he would be good to have with us, yeah.
Yeah, he's more of a Lepidstad one, which those are more towards monsters, aberrations, but his deductive skills, his sense motive skills may be playing into a positive and helping you guys.
Very good, yes. So then, turns to Markale and asks, would you like to join me going back to shore to get these individuals so that we can proceed with quelling any concerns that may be arising from the crew and or passengers aboard, so that we can finally go back to shore to establish this freaking colony.
Excellent idea, darling. But you'll be getting into the boat first.
Of course. And I will be happy to assist you onto the boat so that you don't fall into the water again.
Excellent.
She says with the largest smile on her face that you've seen yet.
In other words,
Markale takes her cheek. Markale takes her. First of all, hold on.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
No, the dice gods don't love me today. Yep. I didn't apply the holy unguent, so I deserve this.
Oblivious.
So Markale puts her hands on either side of Aurora's shoulders. I knew that hiring you would be one of the best decisions that I could ever make.
Oh my
Of course.
So I take it you talk with Ramona and let her know.
Of course, yeah. We fill her in on the plan and the details, and I make sure again to clarify what we've given her, just so that she knows, and let her know we'll be back very quickly, very shortly. You guys can even watch us leave and come back. You're not that far away, so.
She goes, I can also assist you if you need to narrow down who I think the suspects are.
I would actually appreciate if you could come up with a list and perhaps any thoughts for us to have as to who you suspect and who you've seen perhaps collaborating together recently.
Sure.
That may help us. As we dive into this quote unquote investigation moving forward.
So you guys go back, probably pulling another stunt on Markale to where she goes flopping in the water.
No. Aurora had her fun. Now Aurora aims to actually keep Markale in very good spirits, and so she will actually be extremely assisting and helpful, and overly so, actually, to totally just butter Markale up as much as possible at this point.
Oh, it works. It absolutely works.
Alright, so what I'm going to do temporarily, I'm going to get rid of this map here. Since this is going to be more investigatory type of things, I will pull up then the images of the people that she will have narrowed down to.
Perfect.
Alright, so you guys are able to go back, bring back the necessary people that you believe will be helpful in the quelling and investigation. Alright, let's see. Don't have one of her. Let's go here. Alright, so that pulls that one up. So this is...
So, Laura, what you're telling me is that Benedict and Markale would get along wonderfully.
Yes. Well, Benedict is not exactly a good person.
I understand. He's also not clearly dealt with Aurora enough to know better, so that's okay.
No, yeah.
Is that pink hair, or is that a different color hair?
That is like a pinkish color hair, yes.
Okay, just checking.
Darling, we call it strawberry blonde.
Yes, exactly. That would be... All right, so you've got several people that she has in mind.
Good.
Two of which I don't have pictures of. Yes, sweetie. I'll get you something here in a little bit. All right, so Peril is the one with the almost brownish, light brownish hair, the blue eyes, and the lighter skin. Lyra Heatherly is the elven-looking individual. She's half-elf with the pink hair. Harcourt Carrolby, which you met him on the voyage, he's of nobility. He's a lower noble from Andoran in a family of wine vintners, so he is one of the younger sons of that situation, and you get the feeling from the way he comes off, he is looking to prove something out here. Lyra, let me get you Lyra's a little bit of information on Lyra, since you were able to talk with her and get to know some facts about her. Lyra is the other aide to Ramona Avadanth. And Lyra actually is another employee of the Bountiful Venture Company, and she is the surveyor. So she surveys the actual mapping of the area herself, as well as identifying any ruins, mineral resources, flora, fauna, and the like. She is very much a daredevil. From everything you're able to talk with her, she loves a little bit of a danger side to things, which is the opposite of Peril. And in a way, they're almost adversaries to each other, quietly. She will go out, weapon up, armor up, and literally survey physically versus sitting back and do the historical side of things. So you get the feeling opposite personalities. She is much more brash and outgoing. She'll speak her mind and have no problems doing it. She's definitely a half-elf. And you get the feeling, Shara gets the feeling from her that she is a tracker or a ranger of some sort. But yeah, she is. She's definitely, her personality, Shara, would attract you 100 different ways just because of how she is. It's almost like finding somebody of similar thinking to yourself because of that. Harcourt is much more aloof, and so you'll have to take some time. He didn't give you a lot of information when you sailed with him, but he sat and listened to a ton of your information. So, then there were two others that you won't see on here, but that are there. There is Antona Sedgwick. Antona is one of the expedition's guards. She is an up-and-coming young, how should I say, she's a young soldier who's working her way up into the Eagle, the Golden Eagles, or the Eagle Regiments, the Eagle Knights. So she is much more of a soldier type, military business, but you get the feeling that there is something going on there, maybe a jealousy between her and Ramona. Then there finally is Fayadweir Trundlebrook. Fayadweir is one of the leaders among the actual colonists themselves. He's a farmer, a little bit timid in personality and almost spooky towards things. Noises will set him off, and he's much more of a timid-natured farmer. But he does have a say-so, and he has the respect and trust of many of the other farmers. So those are the different individuals that Ramona brings to you. And she goes, each one is key and crucial to calming the different sides of things. She goes, if Antona speaks up, she could cause a riot among the guards themselves, and we need them more than anything. She goes, if Mr. Trundlebrook feels like this will be an absolute failure, he may pull on the heartstrings of the farmers to where none of them trust the situation. She goes, Harcourt may be making a case that if he fails here, or if he perceives he will fail, he sees that as a negative, since he's wanting to strike out for his family and gain prestige among his father, mother, and other family members. Lyra, she goes, is probably the most personable to talk with, but if she feels like the situation is too dangerous, then everybody on the expedition will feel like this is too dangerous to undertake. She goes, Peril is just vital to me with all the discoveries we'll make out here. And if we do not have her beside us, as well as Benedict, both will be assets to me when it comes to what we find here and the profitability. So if we lose either one or both, that will be tragic. She goes, do this for me. I entrust you into going through this. Any aid I can do, I will do it. And she goes, by doing this, I will make sure that you have a prominent place in our colony, and you will become some of my trusted aides to work with.
Ramona, may I please have the pocket watch back? I think that will be of must use for Peril and Benedict to see what we have already found.
Good idea. Yes, you may, and I appreciate you sharing it with me. She goes, most likely, when we find Raymond, if we find him, he'll want it back. So you keeping it and safeguarding it may be very helpful, and it may also be a clue to help find him eventually.
Certainly.
And so she turns and looks each of you very seriously and says, I need you more than ever. She goes, maybe it wasn't in the beginning that I felt that way, but you have really proven your mettle and your worth to this colony. You are a key part of this colony succeeding. And I know that this won't be the last time. Will be one of many times I will need your aid. And mind you, you will be rewarded for it. In fact, she goes, what was your percentage to be of the profits of this colony? Do you know? She says, looking at each.
Aurora has no idea.
Was that in the character creation piece?
Yep. She goes, yes, Shara, you are correct, 1%. She says, I will give you 3% of the share in this colony's productiveness. And that will be a guarantee if you can turn this here and continue to be a helpful asset to this colony and the different missions that I ask for. She goes, I'm not asking for yes people or yes women in this. That is not at all what I ask. And she turns to Yosef and she goes, and a yes man. She goes, I do not want that. She goes, I want candor. She says, I want your opinions. And if you disagree with me, that is fine. Let's do it behind closed doors. But give me a good reason why you disagree with me, and I will genuinely take into any decisions the input you give me. And weigh it very heavily.
I do not suspect it will be any issue for Markale to speak her mind when the time comes.
She goes, I expect so. And she goes, and for you, Markale, not only the 3%, but you will have a major name on one of the businesses here that you establish in this colony.
Ooh.
And I will make sure that the Bountiful Venture invests in your venture so that it will succeed and be beneficial to both parties.
Oh, don't you worry, Madam Mayor. I won't let anything happen to the colony.
Good. She goes, that is a very good thing to know, and that's what I ask. She says, go forth, interview each, and please stop this from being a powder keg, because if this goes over the tipping point, we will all not benefit from what will occur. And please, if you can, she goes, do so without violence.
Absolutely.
She goes, I know you probably left your other companion upon the shore, or companions, because they may lean this way, and I appreciate your candor in that as well. She goes, I do not want bloodshed if we can avoid it.
We will do everything within our power to avoid that, of course.
She says, good. Well, then from that, I will tell you that one of the houses of your choice, until and if we find the settlers that live there, you will choose, other than, of course, the mayor's house, and
Markel deflates.
And the houses that are for the priests and other tradespeople in the wall. She goes, you can choose either another one to be built within the palisade, or you can choose one of the houses that already exists as your base of operation.
Rick, can you remind me the bed that Shara was jumping on? Was that Shara that was jumping on it? Which house that was in? Was that the mayor's house?
That was in the priest's house.
Dang
that was
it.
the Rastilian priest's house that she was bouncing up and down. Now, she started with the mayor's, but then she went to sleep the night in the Rastilian priest's house.
Okay. Just checking. All right, well, Aurora nods.
She nods to the mayor's bed, too.
Aurora does nod and says we are at your service. I suspect with the group that has assembled for this task, I suspect it will be in the best interest when we do arrive to shore that a new house is erected. Unfortunately, the houses that are already there may not be a sufficient size enough for the numbers that we have.
Granted.
So we will handle that. I do have one personal request.
Yes, she says.
Our friend Shara does indeed want a good bouncy bed with which to have for herself. So I will leave that to you to help kind of guide and direct whomever the craftsman may be that would handle that, to make sure it is extremely bouncy. Bouncy enough to perhaps bounce maybe 15, 20 feet in the air. Good.
She says we could probably do such, yes. So,
who knew that orcs like bouncing on beds? It was absolutely hilarious.
She says, another day. Go forth. I have so much on my plate, and I appreciate, again, all of the help that you are providing. Without you, this venture would have a very difficult time going forward.
Of course, and we intend to make sure that things go as smoothly as possible.
And
with that said,
you can
go
see
ahead,
she
Rick.
pulls out parchment, and it looks to be legal parchment, and she begins the work. She goes, I will begin drawing the papers upon the 3% shares, as well as the home.
Thank you so much,
others.
Madam Mayor.
You are most welcome. She goes, again, good luck, and let me know if you need any help along the way with this. And she
certainly.
She motions towards the door. Now, she is staying not in the captain's cabin, but there's a cabin offside for special guests, and that's where her quarters are.
She also, before Ramona leaves, Aurora does mention to her that or requests that if they should need her to join them at some point, or if she happens to hear or see anything in addition, to please share it with her and with the group, to just make sure that everybody's sharing that information as needed as well.
She goes, of course, without a doubt I would do that.
Aurora, darling, do you think we
Yes.
should have one or two guards, posted near the warehouse?
Possible, she says, but first let us resolve this, because no one will go to the shore without this resolution.
Absolutely, and upon us resolving the current concerns aboard the ship, I believe there will be time to discuss further actions that may be necessary to set up and build the colony out further and ensure that things go smoothly once we even arrive to shore.
Of course. She goes, we plan to set up a mine as well as lumber business. She goes, we have to be careful there, and I will say that in candor, because if the Andorran lumber guilds were to find this out, they would be in full opposition. We do this, she says with a wink, under the venture of the Talmander's bounty. That way the Andorran government can blame us if necessary for that. She goes, I share this with you in candor and confidence because you will be such a major part of all these. And, she goes, I will plan to also make sure that you get a portion of anything you find that is of value. I only ask that you at least give it to Peril once we've calmed the situation so that she can document it and make note of its value and its historic value. So, Adeline is cleaning house as much as possible. Oh my gosh, Shara. I love this group. All right, so you have...
Oh, we already came back aboard? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, no, that was y'all had joined us on board. That conversation took place with the captain,
and that's because, as Josh says, her violent past tendencies don't lend to a diplomatic situation.
I mean, sometimes it's necessary. Hopefully not this time.
Yes. Well, in this one, you have the feeling if you were to crack heads, it wouldn't go well, especially with the other colonists. They would see this as not a diplomatic mission of democracy like Andoran is, a republic. They would see it much more as a dictatorship.
Did Shara say that out loud?
Did you say it out loud, Shara?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. That's a question I'm asking to Akeisha.
Well, it could tempt her if she said it out loud. Yeah, because that's something of historic value.
Sword. So Aurora's eyes immediately perk up. Sword. Mm-hmm. You guys found a sword. Mm. May I see it, please?
You can see it sitting on her belt. It is a beautiful sword with gold filament that goes around a green-wrapped, almost leather pommel.
Oh, she didn't mention that out loud yet.
She didn't mention it, but it can be seen because it's still attached to her hip.
You can see. She didn't have this before.
Oh, okay.
It's sitting there.
Well, she did wrap it up in furs and stuff like that, so it wouldn't be obvious.
At least
yes.
Okay, yeah. So it would just look like another piece. So, yes. Okay, then never mind. We'll just disregard that. Aurora has no clue it's even there.
So you have Peril, you have Lyra, you have Harcourt, Antona, Fadeweir, and that's it. So those are the 6.
So I think just in terms of pecking order, it may be incredibly useful for us to actually go to Harcourt first. Being a noble, he will appreciate and this is to the group, he will appreciate the approach first and the recognition of his quote-unquote noble status.
Now, this falls under...
Oh, do we really have to talk to the snooty one first? Ugh.
Just as a GM to you guys, real quick, and I'm loving where it's going, but I'll kind of make you aware, this falls now into a thing called social combat.
Yep.
Now, social combat, there are several elements you want to keep aware. Number 1, discovering knowledge checks. That gives you something on the person. So part of your initial thing may be to gather information about them before confronting. So questions asked, going in, trying to find out things. The more you find out, the more it influences what will be next, which is the influence check. And then once you have that influence check, that'll determine whether or not you can diffuse them.
Absolutely.
Just keep that in mind. You got the discovery and the influence. So as much as you can discover goes in your favor and will help you. And you do get XP for it. And again, the XP awarded on each of these folks is I take their CR value, and this is as if you would have defeated them in physical combat. Each one you win over.
Should we send our lovely investigators out first?
That may not be a bad idea. And how much may we learn about? And as much as you want to learn about, you can make up to 3 checks for different aspects. In other words, if you ask the first one with Shara, so say Shara goes up, asks information about one part of them, then that's the only time she gets to ask. And fail or succeed, that is her learning that aspect. And so you may learn about what's important to them, what they fear, what's their driving thing of why they're here on this voyage. All those things come into play. Are there any special motivations that lead them in here that you can use to leverage? And think of it this way, it's leverage, points of leverage that you're gaining on them. And it can be something you can use either depending on the skill, an intimidate, a bluff, or a diplomacy check. So you can use any aspects of those to help influence. Let's see, as soon as I came aboard, I would have gone to Benedict. Okay, that's fine. And if you went to Benedict, you can do the same thing on him, because again, he, like you said, he uses you kind of as an employee, so you would literally be going and finding out what's going on there. Okay, so paraphrase. Yep.
And then Shara said, did we pick anything up just from the 6 weeks?
Yeah, that was the stuff he shared with us a minute ago.
That's something that you can also, I'll give you an additional role there on the information side that you can either do as a group, which it depends. Do you want to say you guys sat as a group and learned this information about them? That aids you in who can aid the roles. Or was it something that you did on your own, which means then you get no aid. You have to make the roll on your own. I can give you an either or. It doesn't matter to me either way. But if you choose, say, with Peril Bays, to say, yes, we sat with her as a group, then you don't get individual checks outside of that to have learned additional things. That would have been the things you learned as a group.
So at some point, Aurora would have individually gone to Lyra, for sure.
Yep.
And probably actually not to Harcourt. That probably would have been a group gathering unless somebody else would have done it separately.
So Peril and Lyra. Now, there are other people that you could have talked with as well that were on the voyage. And these are people that may know things about that person. So you could go back to them.
Markel would have learned everything about the men.
Okay. Yeah. So you got Alba, who, as you remember, was the dwarf alchemist. You had Anya Sandstrider, who was the human ranger, who is... what was she? She is not Kellid. She is... Shonti. She's a Shonti with the tattoo of a moon on her head. One that has no hair. There is Carver Hastings. He is an archaeologist. And again, he, as an archaeologist, would maybe have some information on Lyra, because they would almost compete with each other. And then, of course, there's the priests, Eamon and Curvis.
Corvus?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have, let's see, who am I missing here? You have Luton Kaelwick. Luton is the apprentice smith that was coming to apprentice under the current smith that was there. But now he will be promoted up to the main smith until you can find otherwise, the other one. And that's it. You could have talked to some of the colonial soldiers, which is not a problem. Again, there's too many for me to name right now, but those are all people. Let's see, that's... okay, so that's we got to the voyage. Alba and Shara definitely interacted. Yes. And then, yes, Anya as well. So however you guys... and ladies want to take it, just let me know, and let me know who you want to start with, and that's where we'll start. We'll do the rolls, and then I can share with you information from there. So I don't know if we want to start with maybe Shara and Anya, or Alba and Anya.
So can we like just group up like in a private area for the group and like talk it out?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, if you want to do that, why don't we do this then? If you guys want to talk it out, you want me offline for that when you talk it out?
No, I don't think that's necessary.
No. It'll just be because I mean Yosef's going to be there too. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yosef,
Yeah.
Benedict would be there because, or Adelaide's not going to, especially at this point, she's not leaving without Benedict, at least to her room.
Yeah.
So so we need the NPCs, Rick. So you got to be part of these conversations.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. This I can
So
do.
yeah, we would find a decently private place.
Yeah, Aurora would have asked Ramona for a private room, preferably one that would be recognized as having some sort of authority on the ship.
Sure.
Just because it gives that added layer.
It's a good point, Shara. Shara threw something in there, and that's a very good point. Ganging up looks suspicious. For other than being with
I don't think so because we were the adventuring group that grouped up to go ashore, and then we're just grouping up. As long as we keep it casual, like we're an adventuring group, so I don't think an adventuring group.
And we can to give that perception, we can also have food and beverage in the room as part of just that. We're just getting together.
Good idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And we can take it a step farther, and we can, instead of just focusing on just these guys, we'll focus on these guys, but we can actually do this with everyone on board to give the perception that this is something we're doing. Whatever this may be for, we're doing it. And we probably want to come up with a cover story of why we're actually doing this. But
Well, some of us are quite wounded and stuff too.
Yep.
So maybe we could say we're coming back and we're just resting, getting bandaged up. Maybe have one of the clerics come in.
Well, yeah, speaking
and we
of
could
which,
start with the clerics.
that's a good idea, yeah.
Speaking of which, yeah, you can have the clerics come in, and that would be good. Both of them have the ability, especially Eamon. Eamon definitely has the ability to heal quite a few of you.
And as far as it looking like we made our report, like Ramona was supposed to go out from that report appearing very positive. So this should look like a victory ceremony, like hard work, good job guys, now rest up and, eat, drink, make merry.
Absolutely.
Thanks, adventuring crew.
Absolutely.
Good
You
job.
can definitely do that and give that off. No problem.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, at least from a previous role standpoint, Aurora would have interacted with Lyra, but if anybody else wants to take that one, they can. And she would have interacted with, out of the important 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, important 6, and possibly with Antona. She may have also spoken with Antona before, but if anybody else has any reason to want to do those individual checks, Aurora is happy to take the step back and let you take it instead.
And Shara made a good point, is that in order to do that, bringing Syl back on board and Faradis back on board wouldn't be a bad thing either. Even if you don't fill them in on everything going on, in other words, what was discussed is discussed, and this is kind of the debriefing, and you bring them back on board, that may not be a bad idea.
Yep, and Aurora, when Syl gets on board, Aurora also makes sure to clarify with Syl, no killing, please.
Yes, and basically, so Syl, you come back on board, as does Faradis, and are filled in on everything in this big meeting. So that's true,
Okay.
and that's absolutely right. And in not keeping Faradis under your thing, he could be a liability to you. You don't get the feeling that way from Yosef. Yosef seems much more, because of his lawful nature, he's not going to go against and blab stuff out. He does not see that of any benefit. Whereas Faradis, being his nature, if there's something profitable there, might do it. So
Aurora offers him 25 gold to not talk.
okay. Faradis takes it quietly and says, no problem.
Yep, I figured.
He is definitely buyable.
Oh, yeah. Why bother with social checks when you could just tell him to shut up?
Yes, exactly. Here, hush money, quiet. No problem. I got you there.
Probably more valuable than even the 25 gold to keep him quiet, but if I can get away with it for 25 gold, it's 25 gold.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right, so you guys go into the room. If you want to
hold on just a second. So, Laura, for that, if Adeline shares that with Aurora or anybody else, Aurora would work with Adeline to make sure that he's aware that there is significant benefit for him,
Yes.
possibly even showing him the pocket watch.
I would show him the pocket watch, but I would try and discourage Shara from showing him the sword.
Aurora doesn't know about it, so
Okay.
that's up to
Well, that's
Shara.
good. But I mean, just so Shara knows, I would try to keep her from showing that to anybody because I have a feeling he would demand to have it and all that kind of fun stuff.
Of course. But Aurora would
For
also
scholarly studies, of course, you know.
Oh, of course. Aurora would also make note that his silence on matters where necessary will be extremely profitable for both him and the group at large, and also very good for Adeline's sake.
Oh yeah.
And Aurora gives him the very sternest of gazes.
Smart moves. All right. So you're starting with Benedict first on all this, correct?
I would have, just as soon as I got on the boat.
Yeah, so that was a private conversation. They would have had some sort of private
So
conversation.
he was more of the, so you found things. That's promising. Very promising. In fact, that's very good. I am glad that you're in my employ. You have been most useful in this way.
I think if we can continue into this and get everybody to calm down a bit and just realize everything's going to be okay, there could be a lot of profit in it for you.
I like profit. I like discovery even more. But, yes. I think this would work quite well. Is there anything I can do to aid your efforts?
Well, anything that you'd be able to do to help us convince Peril of this, or any of the others that you may have had any dealings with since I've been off the boat,
Peril has been
would be beneficial.
Peril has been quite concerning. I like her company. However, what she says sometimes out loud is not what she feels inside. I think you'll have trouble with this one. She wants to avoid conflict, if at all possible. So, if you were to... If you could basically convince her that sometimes things are not always as A to B, B to C, C to A, that might help. Because I think as an academian, she tends to fear when things don't go as planned or smoothly. Reassure her of this, and I think you will go a long way to helping her to feel good about this.
Okay, and if you could use any influence on her that you have as well, that would be most beneficial to us.
Of course. Let me go have a brandy with her and see what I can do to let her know about the wondrous discoveries you have brought back and the benefit of moving forward. This, I think, will be very beneficial for us. So,
sounds great.
You see him smile and nod as if to dismiss you, and he seems pretty happy right now. Yes, all that stuff has been shown to him. That was part of convincing. Now, your sword may not have been, but the watch alone.
Yes, the watch would have been, but not the sword.
Had his interest.
And for that interaction, as soon as Adeline got on board, Aurora would have handed her the watch to let her, since she was pretty certain she was going to go talk to Benedict, would have given her the watch to take with her and made it very clear, return the watch to me, please, thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So with that, you'll, like I said, it is as if defeating that CR level. So you would have defeated a CR 3. Actually, is he 3? I think he's 2. Yeah, 2. He's a CR 2. So, Put that down there, because that's going to go a long way to the party and what experience that's going to happen today. So, all right. So who is next?
I would like a private conversation with Lyra.
Okay. You don't want to do any of the healing with the priest that you spoke of?
I don't need to heal, actually, surprisingly enough. And Aurora looks at Yosef. I presume you can handle the clergy.
Of course. He says, I can do that. So I'll do my Yosef rolls on his. Oh, nice.
Try not to fail.
No, he didn't. He rolled quite well on that one with his deals. All right, so you're heading to Lyra.
Yes, and Shara, if Shara wants to join, because that is someone that would get along with Lyra, she is welcome to join as well for this.
You could do Shara, you could even do Syl in that situation, because of her being the adventurous sort.
Syl has spent a lot of time getting those kegs onto the ship. She's going to be busy.
Good idea.
All right. So you're able to get with Lyra and pull her aside quietly. She is in the mess hall, but you're able to draw her attention.
Yes, Shara, come with.
She goes, well, you made it back. That's wonderful. How was your first trip to the island? Tell me some good news off of the outing.
This is in private, correct, Rick? Side note.
Well, she goes, did you run into anything interesting there on the island? Yes, no.
This is a private conversation, right, Rick? I'm checking to make sure before I ask questions or before I say things.
Oh yeah. She's got you pulled off to a section. The cook is out of there now, having fed most of the people throughout the day. She's kind of the last one to come in, and she's got her mug of watered down ale along with what she's picking over food wise.
Oh, there have been on-kegs and items of intrigue and all sorts of fun stuff. Aurora waits for Shara to chime in.
All right, so do me a favor as you're chiming in and make your rolls on whatever you can use. Diplomacy, bluff, either one works really well. Or just a charisma check, just a general charisma check. Monkey got gobble monkeys. She goes, wow, you had to have a lot of fun going up against those. She goes, that to me sounds very interesting and intriguing. I hope to get to run into some.
Absolutely. There will be plenty of opportunities ashore to engage in untold adventures.
All right, so do me a favor and roll your rolls on influencing her. Because, again, she's pretty straightforward. You guys have figured her out pretty early on. Any of the above. If you want to intimidate her, you're kind of playing on her, respecting you more. Yeah, so diplomacy, bluff are probably better. Diplomacy is a great straightforward one if you have it. Because it looks like she honestly believes you two a little more than maybe others. Okay.
I'm telling her about adventurous things that are on shore, about ruins that we believe are just beyond, and stuff that I haven't seen and have no reason to have seen, but things that would make her, very interested in going ashore.
Maybe for intimidate, you can intimidate her into feeling like she's going to miss out if she doesn't agree with you.
Well
or if she doesn't. So you can kind of fear of missing out her using intimidate.
So 50 experience on that one addressed here for you.
That was good.
Figuring out how to use that one. That's really good. I like it. Like it. And of course, on yours, Adeline, for how you utilize that thing, give yourself 50 as well for your mentor and working on him. Yep. All right. Do the FOMO
Roll.
one. That's beautiful. I love it.
Oh, nice.
So between the two of you working on her, she is very. I mean, she's enraptured. She's just, especially with you, Shara. She's like almost gazing into your eyes longingly to be in these adventures. It's not so much a, I don't know, romancy thing. Is that just the whole idea of you being out there doing that is romantic to her, if that makes sense. She is just wanting to be you, and to have gone through these experiences that you both have. She just, her grin goes ear to ear, and she goes, "You must show me these places. I want to go. I am definitely resolved to go with you."
As she says that, Aurora says, and it would be very helpful to speed this process along if you would also talk up the possibilities that await on shore to those who would be best served to hear such things.
Of course. Maybe I can even gig Peril, since she's so academian. This is greatness. I can find so many wonderful places. She goes, "You must help me when we get ashore in my efforts to find great places for mining and other things, because I will need that help. And I think you are the right group to do that." Yes, I'm definitely a believer in that. And I believe that, she says quietly, the Bountiful Venture Company will be very pleased with your aid. Oh, she goes, "I know it will be an adventure of a lifetime." And she goes, "And I love to go see the different places, especially where you found some things. I'm betting you have found some things, haven't you? Knowing who you are." And that opens a very, very positive thing for you. So you want the song, Janet, on this? Alright, let me go to the bonuses. Do you want Presto or Bernie? Alright. Yeah, you're definitely sensing that she is interested both in a... Yes, Janet. Hang on. Oops. Back. Sorry. You get the idea that she is a mix of both romantic and interested for the company.
That's good for knowing what to say. It's a 50-50 proposition. You feel like right now you've got her very enticed to see what she can find there, but I think if you showed her actual evidence, you get a very, very positive, warm feeling that it may push her over the top.
Oh, of course. And Adeline's not there, but I'm sure Aurora, before this conversation, would have got the watch back and, pulls it out, shows it to Lyra and says, "Oh, yes, we actually did find this. And I am certain there is far more to find."
She goes, "That's amazing." She looks at it for a minute.
And if you could actually identify that for us as well, that'd be great.
Oh, yes. You have gotten her interest. She goes, it looks almost like the wayfinders that the Pathfinders use. I wonder if this is a much earlier version. So, yes. There's so much that could be gleaned here. So many great sights. Yes. I agree on this. She goes, "I will make sure that this goes forward. We must have this succeed. Despite what setbacks are here, it is worth the risk.
Absolutely, and it would be good if you know of anyone on board who is pensive about traveling ashore. It might be good for us to be aware of those so that we can speak to them and make the process quicker to get them ashore.
Yes, Antona. You must talk with Antona. Antona has had some setbacks, I'm afraid, and you must keep this between us.
Of course, of course.
She likes Ramona Avanth, but Ramona has spurned her. And I mean in the romantic sense. So, poor Antona, being spurned, now wants to see Ramona fail, just so she can rub her nose in it.
Of course, that makes so much sense. We will definitely speak to Antona.
And I appreciate you coming to me first to show me these things. This has raised my confidence. No offense to Barrow. Barrow's a sweet soul, but she is not the go-getter that I am.
Of course. And do me a favor, and please don't rub this in Peril's face.
Oh, never. She goes, I will go out and find places that will make Barrel's head spin. That is much more satisfaction to me. Let her be the academician that catalogs them. I will go discover them.
Absolutely.
That is a much more satisfaction to me.
Of course.
Oh, no, we wouldn't want that, Shara. No, we don't want this to fall apart. We want this to go well. And I have a feeling that the three of us, and in fact your whole group, will work well together. I look forward to this venture and working with you.
We look forward to the opportunities for you to help map out some of the areas that we haven't explored yet.
That would be wonderful. She goes, I don't have enough legs to go everywhere, but if you can help after I've mapped them out, that will make my efforts so much more beneficial in the long run.
Of course, we will be at your service once we arrive on shore.
Shara, you get more than a sly smile back. You get almost a heart-stopping smile back at you. So definitely, Shari, you get the feeling that there is definite interest there. Intrigue and interest. So, well done. Yes, spark. Exactly. There, and you can again, Aurora, to your almost mirth, you can see the sparks beginning to fly between the two. And again, she's not the most subtle on this. Lyra is very much, if she wants something, she will go get it. Yes, there's a smile and a gentle touch back again, and she goes, thank you, my dear. I appreciate so much that you do this. All right. So Lyra, you get the feeling, has had positivity. Aw.
Yeah, we lost that, whatever you said after.
I'm sorry. So I said basically she touches you back and says, thank you so much, my dear, for bringing this to me first. And that's to you, Shara.
Aurora actually acknowledges that and actually leaves. Acknowledges what's taking place and leaves the room and says, or leaves the area and says, you two seem like you could use some privacy. I shall let you have your privacy.
Much thanks. And then she turns to you and says, Shara, my dear, we must have dinner one night. You must tell me all about more of your adventures. So, I am very intrigued to hear about the places you've been. Maybe after the colony is up and running and you have your place and I have mine, I'll invite you over and make some venison stew. I have a great recipe for that. Ah, yes. Please do. We can have some time and sit and maybe plot out where to go next on the island. And so the sparks begin.
Just remember, Shara, Seely, we need you for that conversation with Peril.
Yes.
I possibly need that freaking sword that Aurora knows nothing about. Thanks a bunch.
Yes, you'll have to go. Well, but you do have Antona open, so you could go there and see what you can.
That's probably a good idea. And actually, for Antona, I think Yosef would make sense to bring with me for Antona. And while that's taking place, Shara and Lyra can have their time together.
That would be awesome. That way.
And of course, Adeline and Benedict, I'm sure, are off by themselves having their time together as well.
There you go. See? All right. Let's see. Which one do you want, Bug? One more. You want Bernie with the boards? All right. Bernie with the boards. All right. So, the next one you head to... Benedict went... Yeah,
because he went to go have
Brandy
with her. Brandy with her.
Ooh, that would be good. That would be...
No, that's what Benedict
Yeah, that's what
said
she
he was
said they
gonna
were
go
doing,
do.
yeah.
Okay. So, yes, they're going to have the brandy, and she will go to influencing that, though it doesn't hurt for a follow-up afterwards. So,
of course.
Yeah.
And actually,
that's just
I'm
to butter her up ahead.
And maybe Benedict also could have had Adeline join him as well in that meeting, so that way Adeline's there to, and maybe it would be a good thing to just have her there for that.
Okay. So, you and Benedict go to see Beryl. And Beryl, he basically takes you down to where she is down in her portion of the berth. And he has taken with him, of course, the brandy that he drinks in the evenings, and 3 glasses. And he goes, "We will do this the diplomatic way." And he says, Peril, are you there?" And Peril goes, "Yes, I'm here. Is that you, Benedict?" And he goes, Yes, I brought my aide with me. And Adeline has had some experience on the colony and what she has discovered there. So I hope you don't mind on the imposition." And she goes, No, I don't. I don't mind at all. Come, please, sit."
Well, thank you.
"I'm glad you could come and tell me a little bit more about what you saw there. I fear the colony, from what we saw, was not going well. Did they lose everyone? Was there anyone there?"
Unfortunately, though, no, there was no one there, but it doesn't look like they met violent ends. It looks like they were led away by the governor who was there. They weren't injured or hurt or anything like that we could tell. But we have seen some very promising things there. Everything is set up and ready to go. There's plentiful food. There's crops just waiting to be picked. And we've already found something quite interesting.
So do me a favor. Do you have either a knowledge arcana, history, or engineering?
History.
Make a roll with that on that.
Okay.
This is going to be your discovery.
Where is it? Okay, here.
Oh, nice. That's all right. You get the idea that you're hitting on the right things when you're talking about discovery. The other things reassure her a little bit, but she perks up and goes, "Discovery? You discovered things? What kinds of things?"
Well, in the governor's house, we discovered something quite interesting. Do I have the pocket watch, or does somebody else have the pocket watch now? I'm confused with the timeline.
The timeline, I would think that you guys would split it up respectfully so that you didn't miss out.
You won't have the pocket watch, but Shara does still have the sword and said that if you needed the sword, she could be summoned essentially to bring the sword if necessary.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a piece of parchment, and I'm going to sketch the pocket watch.
Ooh, you have
that's a good idea.
I'm going to show her, and I'm going to say, this is something that we found in the governor's residence. This is something that they discovered, and I'm going to, put on the Azlanti text that was etched into it, and
beautiful.
yeah, I'm going to say this is what we found. One of my other party members has it, and I can bring it down to show you. But they were showing someone else as well. But this, and I have it all sketched out, and I'm pointing out all the little things about it. And
ooh, yes. She goes, yes. Do me a favor and okay, go ahead. Put the chicken on the stove. No problem,
Hey, Josh,
Josh.
you want to toss me a chicken on the stove too?
There you go.
Great.
yeah, that sounds really good.
Go ahead and roll your diplomacy. If you don't have the diplomacy score, just a charisma-based influence.
Ooh.
Ouch.
So you kind of, she goes, I don't know. And then
Benedict's there.
picks
Benedict
up
is there.
And goes, well, my dear.
Yeah,
wait,
can Benedict aid me? Because he saw it.
Yes, he goes, wait. Let me add some things. And he adds in some other texts in there, and she goes, it's Azlanti. She found an Azlanti Wayfinder device? Yes. No. This is before the Wayfinders. She goes, this is amazing. That's a discovery of epic proportions. The Pathfinders won't know what to do with it. And all of a sudden, you have her locked and wrapped. And his role, let's see, where is he?
Yeah, I was just trying to look at his skills, but it's not letting me pull him up now.
Oh, I can get
Before that was all I could get with him, and now I
know.
can't even.
Let's see. His diplomacy is good. He's got a diplomacy of +7. Oh, yeah. He's got her wrapped. She is so... She's like, Benedict, this is amazing. Do you understand what this means? He goes, yes, my dear, I do. And this means that there'll be many more like this. What if we were to find ion stones here? Or maybe their origins? And all of a sudden you just see her eyes crystallize. And it's almost like she is an overload right now.
I tell her, this is what we found just overnight. Can you imagine once we have time to explore the area?
Was there more? Were there more items?
There could be many, many more.
Wow, she goes...
You know, this is just, we only spent the night here, so we didn't really have much time to look around, but there could be many things.
I don't know what to do, but the dangers. What if we fail like the other group? And he says, my dear, he says, do you think that party this experience with this type of group that has gone to the shore and made it safe for us would have any risks of any sort?
We have gone through every building, gone through every place in this colony, and it is safe. All we found were a couple of minor little things that have been taken care of. She goes, well, and go ahead and make your roll on that one, because you'll need it for her on the do another charisma one or a diplomacy one based one.
There you go. Better. That was very nice.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
job, Laura.
Yeah, she goes,
good job, Laura.
Well, I guess if you have everything under control, I guess that would be a good thing. Maybe just they weren't expecting what they ran into. Yes. Please, let's find more. I must go to the island and begin cataloging these things. It'll be so important, and so important to Andoran and the Bountiful Venture. Thank you so much. She goes, you have rekindled my belief that even though things don't always go as planned, they can be salvaged. Yes, we will do this. And she shakes hands with you just very meekly and with him, and he goes, my dear, let us drink to this. And so you begin drinking and sitting, and she just is alight with all kinds of ideas from there. So,
okay.
All right. So that's 2. All right, where next? You guys have Antona, Fadweir, and Harcourt.
Antona and Aurora is going to Antona privately.
Okay. All right.
Or no, wait. She's bringing Yosef with her.
Yosef,
She's bringing Yosef with her.
All right. So you find Antona talking with two of the guards on the deck, and from just even from the distance you can hear the, I just can't believe we went on this. This is such a failed outing. We could be home now doing things for the military, and here we are just pussyfooting around on a lost cause. And all of a sudden, as she sees you two approaching, she kind of looks up and shakes her head and goes, "What can I do for you?"
Antona, may I please speak with you in private?
Oh, fine. She goes, "You two, I'll talk with you later. What do you need to speak about? I see you came back and are still alive, at least."
Absolutely. Very minor things to deal with ashore, but I am under the impression that you are an ambitious sort.
Yes. Maybe a little bit, yes.
There is plenty of opportunity ashore for those who are ambitious to make their mark, not only on perhaps the Eagle Knights, but also on history itself.
Really?
Of course. We're talking about ruins that have sat here for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Items that have sat here undiscovered for easily that long. And she pulls out the pocket watch and shows it to her, just so that she sees it, and then slips it. Doesn't let her touch it. Just lets her see it. Puts it back in her pocket.
It was a watch. You found a watch. Wondrous. And all of a sudden,
but a watch leads to more things. It is not just a watch. It is, according to many scholars aboard, it is a wayfinder. Wayfinders point directions to things and help find things.
The opportunistic Pathfinder, she says. Yosef speaks up and he goes, "It would be a bad thing if you were to go back, having led a mutiny to get yourself back to Andaren and have failed as a soldier. Would you think that your superiors would be looking to promote you after this?" He says with the a little bit of a bluff and intimidate both.
Absolutely. And Aurora, it probably surprising to Yosef, but Aurora actually reaches out for Antona's hand and grabs it very softly. Doesn't grab it like grippingly, like intimidation, but very softly. And just kind of winks at Antona. Doesn't say a further word after that.
She stands there for a moment. She goes,
after it, and then seeing Yosef kind of failing at intimidating. He doesn't look even intimidating to Aurora at this point. Kind of, sort of, but not really. She goes, "And believe me, there are plenty of things that could," squeezing her hand again, "go wrong."
That's a good one. Make a roll on that to see how she takes that.
I don't even know what that roll's going to be at this point.
You can either use a bluff or an intimidate, either one, depending on which you're better at.
Okay, well, I'm actually identical to both, so...
All right. That has more effect. She goes, "I guess I can stick around and see if this fool of a governor can get things back on track. And who knows, maybe we'll find the original governor."
And Antona, Aurora actually looks at Yosef and says, "May I please have a quiet moment with Antona for a few moments, please?"
Of course, he says.
So as he leaves, she looks at Antona and says, "Just between you and me, I'm not in this to see Ramona succeed. I know that's going to surprise a lot of people. I'm here to see this succeed, but there are things that I do not, absolutely will not allow to happen. I am vehemently against certain, let's say, ancient things that we will not speak of. And I will ensure you that Ramona may not be as completely successful as she would be otherwise."
Go ahead and make your intimidate and see how that comes on this one. You've done pretty well. Yep.
You have her thing, and she goes, "You're right. I'm here to ensure the founding of the colony. I committed to that, and I signed on to it. So long as you are there and your group to help along that way, it'll help us in our endeavors."
And who cares about Ramona anyways?
True.
That's all she says. She doesn't say anything further. She just says, who cares about Ramona anyways?
So you guys have done well. You have basically committed her back to her role as a soldier. So...
3 down, 2 to go.
Yep. You guys are definitely getting to the heart of it. So there is Hardcourt and
Hardcourt.
Yeah, Hardcourt.
He's probably going to be difficult.
Press.
And Fadeweir. So now we probably, I would think at this point, having done all that we've done with these private conversations, now the group gets back together and has a moment to catch everybody up, among the group as to what's taken place. And Aurora...
Can I be flirting with, let's see, the cute one is Harcourt.
Yes, absolutely.
I will happily be off on my own with Harcourt, sharing some drinks, sharing some quality time.
All right. Do you have a knowledge local or nobility on you? Either one?
I have profession merchant. I only have knowledge nature.
Okay. Let's do the profession merchant. I'll give you a check on that one to see if you can learn anything about him. Nice. From that, you are able to see that he's concerned more that Andran has become too much of a republic, and that the nobility class almost has little to no influence unless you're in a key position within the republic. So he is hoping maybe out here to establish some influence and to set himself apart as a key part of the founding of this colony. And that's a big deal to him. You're able to garner that from him. And you have a feeling that you may even convince him that he's putting others off with his aloofness, that it may be bad for business to be so aloof.
Is he married?
No. He is very much single.
Oh, poor. So, it's a new day, and I am going to double check on what buffs my Nereid Fascination gives me.
Ah, yes, because you saw I switched that out originally for you the other day with the cure. That was more because the party was getting beaten senseless and the cures would come in. Which, by the way, I'll have you guys be able to go ahead and correct any damage, because the priest at some point would heal the party at no cost, since you helped to reestablish the colony. So if you want to go in and mark off any of the damage you have, that would be on Markale, on Shara, and on Adeline, which you just took care of. So if you both, Shara and Markale, want to go in and put that back to 0 on the wounds, you guys are all at full.
Okay. Awesome. So let's see. What happens when a character is fascinated? They take a -4. So I guess it really wouldn't be helpful because they're not making skill checks, right?
Oh, you would be. Yeah, they would be sensing motive on you. Absolutely. Especially if you're trying to influence him. He would be at a sense motive check against you.
Dope. So I am sitting kind of like beside him with my arm around his shoulder and my legs kind of draped over his lap. Okay. And I begin to kind of shimmer and glow, and it's very. It's almost like looking at fireworks that that just overtake everything in the night sky. Like you can't even see the stars for the fireworks. And as I start to cast my Nereid fascination, so he gets a will save of 12. So DC 12.
All right, so DC 12. Let's see, where's his will? There's his saves. Will. Nope. Even with his +5, he rolls a massive 8. So he is fascinated by
So I am stroking his chin, and I go, "Oh, darling, you know that I'm the 6th daughter of a family, and it's so hard for us out here making our way. We need to be more delicate, more warm. Don't you agree?"
Yes, he says, I see merit in this. He says, you are very wise in this way. I don't know why I haven't seen that before.
Oh, darling, I'm a diamond in the rough.
He goes, that's okay, but a diamond still.
Oh, you flatter me. And you're so ruggedly handsome. You have all of the people swooning over you. Think of everything that we can do, you and I, establishing an empire of business and commerce on this new colony.
He said that would be very, very good. I would gain much respect in my family, and you and yours. That might be a very wonderful venture. Yes, I think this would be worth pursuing more. Sure.
Absolutely.
He says, I will be much more warm to the commoners. That way they know that they have my backing in this. Yes.
Indeed. And don't you know, when people are happy, it's terribly good for business.
Yes. Business must go forward. He says, I will drink to that.
I would also like a clink.
Clink. And you can see, you have, and there are people watching, and you can see this, and it's in a good way. It's almost like, wow, he's warmed up to her. I guess maybe he isn't such an aloof ass.
Why was I not a succubus?
I know, right? See, you could have done just like Josh done, and done a tiefling and done the succubus, the demonic influence. That would have been epic. That would have just and see, instead of, and that's up to you if you want to go back and change this and revise this, you could have done a mesmerist, you know.
Oh man, I've never done a
Go read on it a little bit. I will, before your second level, if you choose to change that, you can go back in and we'll rechange the stats and everything. Because that fits you to a T. It does. The professions and the mesmerists, oh my gosh. You can get people to do all kinds of things, including your allies.
Rick,
I don't know if I like this.
I know.
Rick, what have you done?
I'm sorry, I just have to...
Rick!
What?
It makes it sound like I am trying to influence people and not just appeal to their better natures.
You'd never
like Aurora,
do that.
she wants to be my assistant manager. Didn't you see the look she gave me? That was passion.
You give them a little nudge in doing this. It's all in how you perspective it. But how much fun could you have just influencing a monster to just want to help you? Just want to do things for business.
Oh yeah, you should definitely see how compulsion is going to go over with Aurora when you start compulsing monster entities.
Oh, no.
You may not survive that encounter. I'm just throwing it out there.
At that point, that's when you use diplomacy. You don't use that.
Good call. I'm just throwing it out there. You may want to think that through.
Mesmerists are smart. They know.
Yeah.
What was his name? The guy that was on Sunday nights and he was helping the police out. It was the Mentalist. I don't know if you guys saw him. He knew what to be when.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they shift rolls very easily.
Yes. I'm saying for her, I know the rest of the party's groaning right now. But
No, it could be very useful. It could be very useful.
One is becoming increasingly too drunk to care.
Well, yeah.
Hey. I can be whatever I want to do, and I'm definitely not drunk.
Oh no, he's talking about Syl. Syl's just drinking all the ale. Syl's sitting back in the corner drinking the ale. The plum ale or plum wine that was created, and he took off with a choker.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she brought it all aboard the ship, and
Yep.
it's not going to
She
survive.
confiscated it from the choker and brought it home. All right.
So, after I finish my flirtationship with Harcourt, I go back to the group and I open the door. Hi, everybody. How is things?
Well, aren't you just positively glowing, Markel?
Oh, is that still on? And she just fans herself
Absolutely it is.
as if she can like turn it off. Oh well, it's only gonna be about 6 seconds longer. It's not anything. Oh, my new friend Harcourt says that he's completely on board.
Antona has agreed as well.
So,
All right. Well, the only
Yes, but
person
did you
we have-
get to sit in her lap?
No, she was actually very cold. It was actually kind of off-putting.
oh yeah, you're still with Lyra down there, Shar. You haven't been disturbed. You're getting to know each other quite well, and again, more of the fanciful flirts and type of thing. Nothing too forward, but you get the feeling that you definitely have at least a very good friend, if not more, in her. So, you get the feeling that there's a certain level there, but if it came down to her or anyone else, she definitely would take her in most cases. Just by her nature and by the ambitions there. But again, she
is more random, but she is good at heart. You can feel the goodness that comes off of her. Like, she wouldn't slip a dagger in somebody's back. She wouldn't necessarily hurt someone, but she likes the one-upsmanship and is not afraid to be creative in how she does it. In a playful way.
Aurora also notes to Markel that you'll also notice Shara's not here. She's taken a liking to Lyra, and it seems to be mutual. And for as much success as you clearly had, Shara one-upped you, and I apologize for that.
Yes.
It gives her the strongest, wink. You got one-upped by a chick that has no business being that flirtatious and good at it.
Wait, I don't believe that. She's green.
You may feel free, Markel, to go and check on her and let me know how that goes. I am certain you do not want to see what is going on in that room.
Wow. The motive is way up there. That's more.
That's unmorbid.
That's perfect. Oh my gosh, that is just epic right there.
Oh, Aurora, you're pulling my leg. We're like sisters. Come here, give me a hug.
Aurora's trying to push her away. No, it's quite all right. It's quite all right. For once, I'm being totally honest with you. No, I'm totally serious.
No.
And if Adeline and Benedict have rejoined, Aurora turns to them and says, "And Peril, I assume you have handled the business with her."
Yes, I think we're set on that.
So then I believe all that remains is Faedweir Trundlebrook.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a silly name. You should really
you get
change
the
it.
feeling that by diffusing the 4 of the 5, you have the most sway that if things were announced, Faedweir would kind of just go along with the flow.
Well, but of course, Steely, we want to sway everybody to our side, just so that way
Well, yes.
it makes it better, right? So Aurora is definitely content to go and speak to him with anybody else that would like to join as well. And in fact, if the whole group other than Shara wants to go,
There you go.
that would be fine.
All right.
Aurora, do you think we'll ever be such good friends that we could hold hands?
We'll see. Not yet.
So
Shara, I can take that in a couple different ways with going for the full Monty there.
Especially with your term use of still busy. We know what that
Yes.
And on that note, I'm going to drive the stake down in it for this outing. But great job, everybody. That was just so much fun, and I love when you guys get into the characters.
I'm just happy that being best friends with Aurora is a slight punishment to Aurora.
Oh, you haven't got to the best part about it, which is where it will be slight punishment to Markel, like falling in the water.
Oh my God, we're friends. This is the best thing ever.
Yes. That's gonna be. I can just tell you, that's gonna be epic fun. We're
just living the Mean Girls life.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh my gosh! And all the while, Syl sits in the background, having ale and just smiling the whole time.
Oh, come on, Syl, join the friend club. Let Markel do your hair.
I'd watch out for that tail if I were you.
Yep.
Looks like it hurts.
She glances over at you. She glances over at you in a moment and just says,
That's about it.
and then takes another swig.
Oh my gosh! All right, so everybody, 750 experience points apiece for what you've done so far for the different monsters and everything else. Well, actually, no. Let me see. 2, 4, 5, 950. I forgot the one in there. 950.
950?
Yep.
Boy, I leveled up.
Good job. So,
Woo!
if you level up, then I would say this. If you want to change anything about your characters, at level 1 you still can. Once you do that level 2 up and start making the changes, and you're locked in where you're locked in for now.
Okay.
At least on the...
I think I'm good.
What's the level or XP needed for level 3? Just so I have it in the things.
3,000.
No,
No,
more
for
than
level
that.
3.
Because remember, we're going
Oh, for
at
level 3.
we're
I'm sorry.
going
I
at
thought
the
you said
slow
level 2.
advancement. So just keep that in mind.
Yep.
So slow advancement.
Okay, I'll look it up, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more. I think it's around like 7 or 8. And again, I do that for a reason, because that allows everybody to go off and do more things, get more experience, and, really enjoy the campaign. Because otherwise, if you go up too fast...
Same, Shara.
Yeah, 7,500 is the XP needed for level 3.
There you go.
And I'm going to take time to research whether I want to stick with the exact build I have or switch it up just slightly.
Yeah, I want to
like
check
the
out this
character.
Mesmerist, because I do like the...
Oh,
I'm going
think
to
she
pour all
might-
my points into strength and just go for an intimidating character so that I can always constantly intimidate Markel.
Oh, darling, why must you beat me when you could just simply join me?
There you go. See?
Because beating is twice the fun.
Oh my gosh. Now we're going into Syl's level of the woods.
Syl gains improved grapple this level.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Grappling fun. More ways to beat your opponent into submission.
Shara, bouncing on beds for beginners.
There you go. See, you need a feat that just is like bouncing.
Bed bouncer.
Oh, you know what you could do? This would be great if Shara did an acrobatics feat.
There you go.
Yeah, see, then you get the extra things in there. There's what is it, athletic, or no? There's an actual one that has the acrobatics in it.
By the way, acrobatics, good for other things on the bed besides jumping. Just putting that into perspective.
No comment there. God, never a dull moment. You just have to get Kim talking, then she'll embarrass me 70 shades of gray. So, yeah, and the reference goes along with it, so...
Yay, Kim!
Yep. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, it doesn't help that we've got an adult store like down 20 minutes from us. So, and Kim knows the manager there, and they're talking. I'm like, oh my god. All right, 5 ways to embarrass me. So, yeah, another day in life. Oh, and on things. Okay, so I know that, Adrestia, you were talking about Extra Life. I do have an Extra Life account. Of course,
Great.
Thread Raiders grabbed a hold of me, and you can beat Chaotic Anarchy on that. But she pulled me in to help them on the 2nd and 3rd. So I
that's perfect because I'll be at BlizzCon. So that's
you'll be
perfect.
at BlizzCon. So then it helps still with the goals, and we can still do our cast, because one of the things we're going to be talking about is how to do all the dynamics of that. Now, I do have the Twitch account, and I just need to figure out how to get, I think, a streaming room set up for that if we want to do that. So
Okay. Awesome.
But if you wanna head that up, since you've done it before,
Right.
Basically, folks, what it is Extra Life is Children's Medical Network. Is the donations go to Children's Medical Network?
Yeah, we have a 24-hour game-a-thon at one of our local gaming stores next weekend for that.
I think it's amazing. As a dad, it's like any of these kids and the fact that they get to know that they're gamers and geeks and people that care about them, and that gaming has positivity. I mean, I see even with these kids that it just puts a positive light on things for them. So, let's see, you definitely need to join Bouncing the Bed, a must. Oh Lord! But however you want to do that, I mean, we can shift around, because this month our next game would be on the 21st. But if you wanted to do like one of the November ones and move it into that, I mean, I don't see why we couldn't. And
I think it'd be cool, especially since you're going to be working with Chaotic Anarchy, and she's already kind of like like we could ride the momentum.
Yep.
Of Chaotic Anarchy stream. That's really cool that she's got that.
Yeah, and she does. If you look under the Thread Raiders on there, Thread Raiders. So again, it's extralife.org. If anybody wants to check it out, has the information out there. Like if you look at my Twitter account now and my Facebook, you're going to see everything has Extra Life on it. I got the banners up there. I've already kind of hyped things. And I'll be doing a lot of promoting when it comes to that. That's part of my role in there, is promoting.
What's the date, Rick?
It's the normal dates are the 2nd and 3rd that the Thread Raiders are doing it, but ours, we can look at when do we want to do that, and I guess we can, however you want to do it, we could tag it onto them, or however you want to do that. I mean,
the
Chaotic
third,
would love it.
The 3rd technically would actually be the next, because we have the 20th, 21st,
right,
which is the next one, and then actually the 3rd, 4th is actually the next one after that.
Unless
so it's already
we modify things. I mean, we could either do, if we wanted to, we could do the 21st on the
do it early,
of the 28th. It depends on when we want to do the live stream. I mean, it doesn't matter, I guess, in the date. The date doesn't really matter as long as
So we'd be looking to do it on a Sunday then. Or are you talking about November?
Either that, or we do it on our next weekend. I mean, in 2 weeks, and just kind of organize towards that. Now, if we stream, you guys don't have to turn on the cameras. You can leave it blank or whatever with a little logo up there for you. I mean, people can still listen to it on the Twitch cast. People do it that way. I probably will flip my camera up if Kim lets me. Because I think she's going to take off on whatever weekend we do it, so that I can then go back in the office and have flip my cam up if I want to, and not get into trouble for it while streaming. All we would need to do, and maybe we could talk with Chaotic Anarchy, is we could have one of their folks moderating the room that we're
And that way then they can do little fun things in there and giveaways. Because she's got plenty of stuff for giveaways. She went and talked to Loot Crate, and Loot Crate sent her a bunch of things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Big stuff.
Yeah.
So, and they said they got so much that we don't even know if we can get them all done in the ones that we're doing. And I'm going to be playing in a 5e campaign on either that Saturday or the week of the 3rd or on it's a 2-hour one, probably in the evening or on the Friday. I don't know yet which one, because if we have our thing as the regular thing on that Saturday, I won't be able to do that and run our campaign. So I don't want to on the 3rd necessarily. Now, we can move things back from the 3rd if you want, since the rest of you're going to be out to maybe the weekend of the 10th, if everybody's okay with that.
Yeah, I'm only taking, so BlizzCon is only the 2nd and the 3rd, and, hold on, BlizzCon 2018, I'm pretty sure it's only 2 days, it's only the 2nd, yeah, it's the 2nd and the 3rd, that's Friday, that Friday, Saturday, so I can do Sunday.
Yeah, let's do that. I was going to say, can we just schedule to do that Sunday?
Yeah, we can do the 4th. That's fine. Why don't we just plan on that? Because Sundays seem to work okay, and it doesn't seem to conflict too much if everybody's schedule's okay for that.
Yeah, I can do
That'd
that.
be fine.
I can do Sundays.
So same time on Sunday?
Yeah, and then if we want to do the 21st as the live one, then let's just keep it on schedule for that. And again, they'll see the type in the live one. The nice thing about Fantasy Grounds, they can see you guys typing and talking that way, so it doesn't interrupt anything Akeisha normally does in the thing. It keeps the same rhythm going. So
yeah.
Okay, are we doing? I'm sorry. Did you say the 20th or the 21st?
21st.
21st.
Okay.
Because then that'll be the 21st is, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry. We could do the 20th. That's right. It's Saturday the 20th. So we could do Saturday.
Well, either way is fine with me. I just need to know so I can make sure I don't schedule anything then.
Do you guys want to do the Saturday that weekend, or do you guys want to do the Sunday?
Oh, no, I need the Saturday.
Okay, so we'll do Saturday the 20th of this month, and then the 4th for
the next one.
Yeah. And that way we can plan on then the 20th being our deal for charity for Extra Life. Yep. And that way then everybody, and again, you guys don't necessarily have to be a part or donate. It's up to you. Like I donated to my own, and I donated to David with the Thread Raiders, David O'Steele. And so I put his in there, and I donated so he has some towards his goal. But a lot of it is just you could even have friends, people want to watch, join in, other players that normally wouldn't get to play with us but maybe interested in watching the fun. We can have them join in room. And if we have a moderator for it, again, that's why I want to get Chaotic Anarchy to get a moderator so that way we can focus on the game. And then they can, she can focus on moderating the room and giving shout-outs to people who give and different things like that, and prizes, so that we're not having to. I mean, we can mention it, but it allows us to just focus on the aspects of the game.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of cool because it's a once a year, but man, it is. When I read about it last year, I was like, man, I want to be a part of that. I definitely do, because it's kids and kids getting. I mean, I don't know, maybe you can explain it better than I can, address you on it, what it's all about, but basically it's kids who are very sick in hospitals, part of the Children's Network, and this is helping them by raising money for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way to say it is, taking all that gaming energy that people normally have and using it for a good cause.
Yep. That's perfect. And
it's a great thing. I've been supporting it for years.
That's awesome. See, I want to be a part of it, and anything that has charities that have kids attached, you just sign me up. I mean, it's, as a dad, that's just a given that I want to help out, and
make sure the kids are doing well. I mean, let alone just charity in general, but especially kids. I mean, they go through some hard things medically, and I can't even imagine. And they just smile and stay positive, and heck, Paizo did a 24-hour, and I think, what did they raise? They raised, I think, $5 million.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's
they
pretty
got
good.
some
That's
good-
awesome.
But they did a lot. I mean, they did the humble bundles. They did all that stuff. Gave away PDFs. Gave away major stuff. And I think Wizards did something similar to that. I remember Wizards and then I think were competing on who did better. And that's great because then the kids benefit. I mean...
Yeah.
But they said, I think last year, what was it, $40 million was raised? So it was a fair amount of money. And,
Oh, that's huge.
yeah, I mean, those kids benefit for it, especially in medical procedures, things that they normally maybe not be able to do, and that money's there to help them. That's huge.
Yeah.
So, yes, Bug. All right, I'll get off and get you something.
Uh-oh.
All right, so the Munchkin has said the time is done for Daddy to be on.
All right.
We'll keep in touch on this one, and just figure the 20th, if everybody's good for it, we can stream, and I can get with Chaotic Anarchy and TK out of the Thread Raiders and see how we can set it up so that they could have a moderator in there and keep everything flowing for it.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Just tell me what I need to do in order to make sure that I can access that.
You
Because
got
I'm
it?
assuming that we're doing that over Twitch instead of Discord. Because
Yes.
I'm not. Okay. Because I have no idea how that's going.
I'll get with TK and see what all we'll need to do because they
Yeah,
stream
can
all
you
the time.
post your Twitch account in the chat?
You got it. I'll
Yeah,
put
we
it in
might
there.
want to set something up like the day before or
Yeah,
something
for
just
a
to
dry
test,
run.
make
Test.
sure we can all get in.
Yeah, I think that'd be
Yeah.
good, and that way, and then like I say, we'll have TK on hand, probably, or one of his guys that know what they're doing. TK is an IT guy, so he
Yeah,
knows-
we can still use Discord. It's just we just need to figure out what the streaming tech Rick will be using, whether it's OBS or something like that. Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Let's see. Would
Okay.
would it just be a matter of broadcast? Yeah, it would be. My computer, and hopefully we can set it up in a way that's reliable. And if not, then because my computer, what you're going to do is you'll come in, but mine will be like the server that it's going over and out to the deal. If I'm correct on how all that works.
So Twitch so if Rick has something like OBS or something like that, then he
Yep,
can
I do.
connect that to Twitch, which means that OBS will handle what's on the screen
Yep.
and it'll handle the audio.
Yep.
So
and his camera as well.
and his camera and all of that. So as far as the rest of us is concerned,
Exactly.
nothing needs to change on our end.
Hey,
yeah.
Rick,
Yeah.
question for you. And this is an aside to this, but part of this as well. Have you ever looked at StreamElements.com?
I haven't yet.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
yeah.
That may be a better one to look
So
at.
we actually use it for our Dynamo podcast that we run,
Okay.
me and my roommate, and we've had a lot of success with it. It's got a built-in chat bot, and it's got a built-in way to take tips, which could be immediately passed on to Extra Life as well,
Ooh, that might be-
and will automatically acknowledge them. It also has a way to have a box that shows chat messages,
Ooh, that's
so that we
awesome.
can and overlays tied in, and it'll use OBS as well, so it ties in with all this stuff.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
So Stream Elements would be my recommendation as someone who has used it in the past.
Okay.
But Streamlabs is also good, but basically the same thing.
Okay, so
like
you
Yeah,
think
basically
that'll be
the
a
same
better
thing.
solution over OBS then?
No, it's in conjunction.
with.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's in, so it almost be what, like the Discord element that would go in there and work with OBS, correct?
Yes, essentially. So it creates the way they call it, it creates an overlay that OBS recognizes, and then the video feeds and your screen and things like that, those all kind of are part of the overlay that gets shown in OBS that then gets transmitted to Twitch.
Oh, that's awesome. That'd be great. Yeah, because I've got OBS set up, as you'll see from when I tape these things.
you'll see, Fantasy Grounds come up in there. And even Discord in this one, you'll see I got Discord. So I got any Discord chat that went up, any Fantasy Grounds, plus the picture of me in there GMing, because I pull up the camera until Kim kills me, and then I shut it down and then turn it back on again. So yeah, she knows me too well. But this way at least it puts everything in there so everybody can see what's going on. If that will work with that, then that's beautiful. Then that gives us the elements. Yeah, let me get with. I'm going to get with TK, because TK probably has used it. Is my guess. He's used a lot of stuff. This guy is. I wonder if he ever sleeps some days. TK just is always doing something for something. So, but yeah, I'll get with him and then take a look. And if I got any questions, I may be plugging some people into it, to talk with each other to kind of make it all work.
Sure.
But yeah, that sounds good. And like I say, Akeisha, you're not going to have to worry other than just logging in as normal and playing and going from there. So, all right, I'm going to hop off, guys.
Yep. Later, Rick.
Soon. Take
We'll
care.
talk to you later.
Alrighty.